Hello there and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be doing something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while, but I've been waiting for an off season in one of my series in order to do it. But I'm going to be doing a video where I review all of my damaged diecast. Now honestly, I actually had this video idea well before misc did it over on his channel. But he beat me to the punch during that. When I first had the idea, I didn't have enough diecast for a really good length video, but now I have plenty of them. And just like on his channel, we're going to be doing a season by season style of series. For season 1, there was only 3 diecasts, damaged diecasts that is, in the entire season. One of them has been reused multiple times and is not really the same damaged card that it was before, so that one has been pushed to season 2, which is combined with season 1. So starting off, let's get with the original. This was the first ever damaged diecast ever made by me. It was an extra Chris Buescher car. As you can see, it's a gold series, of course. Obviously, gold series is never really the move when it comes to damaged diecast, and obviously this is a Stenhouse car, but it's a throw-in for Chris Buescher because he was driving the 17 whenever I first started the stop motion series. Now the damage, of course, is my first ever time doing the damage, so it's not really that detailed in any way. Honestly, could have been a lot more with the way that he crashed, but pretty good starter for the series. The 17 that was just shown was used at Bristol Motor Speedway, but now moving on to Darlington of that season, William Byron, a restart crash coming to the green flag. You got squirrely on the restart, got sent down to the inside wall, and hit the inside wall. Now this obviously shouldn't have been a DNF because this damage is pretty repairable, but you know, it's kind of hard for the car to roll when it has damage to the wheels and all that, so yeah, unfortunately, was forced to DNF due to the way that the car was left to roll. But I'm going to be leaving off a lot of the very simple damaged cars, like Austin Dillon from Season 2 of Darlington, Ryan Blaney from Utah of Season 2, and as well as Tyler Reddick from the finale, and Ryan Newman, his Castrol car from Utah as well, mainly because that one was also reused and a little redamaged for season 3, but yeah. So this is William Byron's pretty simple damage, but I'm only keeping this one on here because it was one of the first I've ever done. So now moving on to one of the more iconic cars from the series, Ryan Newman's Daytona 500 wrecked car. Now this is kind of ironic because you know, this was obviously filmed a year after, or roughly a year after, his actual crash, which was I don't know how controversial this damaged car would be, but honestly, this was pretty rough to do. The back end's kind of weird. The catch fence crash, where the catch fence never really existed. With the amount of catch fence crashes that I've done, none of them has actually been on an actual like chicken wire or mesh or whatever. It's always been an imaginary catch fence there. But yeah, obviously a lot of damage to this car. So much that the roof is almost coming off. You can see inside the car. Honestly, pretty crazy what I did to this dang thing. But yeah, this is one of the first ever cars that I really messed up. So on to the next one. Moving on to race 2 of season number 2. As something that everyone has done before in their series when they make NASCAR stop motions and they damage the diecast. The hood came off. So, of course, yeah, the hood and the nose came off when damaging this car. The crash was obviously not that violent enough to where it would have wrecked Elliott that hard. It was at Las Vegas, after all. And the way that he spun was honestly pretty unrealistic. His front tire blew out here, and then his right rear tire blew out. So, realistically, he should have just gone straight into the wall, but instead he did a spin like this when that would not happen at all. But of course the hood came off, did what misc did to Austin Dillon, what I've seen a couple other people do to their own damaged diecast, but can easily put it back on and all that. But you know, that is Chase Elliott's number 9 Vegas damaged car. Our next set of cars here are our first ever pair of damaged diecasts. Both of these were in the exact same wreck, and that was both of their first appearances. It was Kansas of season number 2. Bubba Wallace went on his side, Chastain was underneath him. That's where that damage came from. But yeah, rear tires on this Wallace car is completely gone. But all in all, a pretty unexpected wreck from what I remember from watching the premiere and all that. But yeah, a lot of people seem to enjoy this crash. First ever double where Wallace again was on his side and Chastain was like right underneath him, Wallace up against the wall. The only thing I would change about the Wallace car is maybe a little more nose damage and then maybe some scraping on the roof. But other than that, this is a pretty cool pair. The 42 and 43 both into the wall, and one nearly upside down, but all in all, pretty good pair. Moving on to the next one. And then Kyle Busch happened to pour Alex Bowman going through the tri-oval at Atlanta Motor Speedway before it became Super Speedway. But all the way back in season number 2, coming through the tri-oval, Alex Bowman got turned by Kyle Busch for retaliation of Bowman wrecking him at Kansas the previous week. Now, if I were to do that crash today, I would definitely have Busch held for a lap, because that was obviously an intentional spin and a very dangerous point of the track. So yeah, that would definitely be a penalty for the 18 or 8 or whoever he would be driving for at that point. Pretty cool car, pretty nice scheme. Unfortunate that I damaged it. If I were to go back in time, this would not be the Bowman that I would use for the damage, because it is such a cool car. But yeah, pretty fun 88 that got wrecked. One of 2 cars for the 88 that got damaged. Now moving on to Texas, there was actually 2 damaged diecasts from Texas, but we'll get to that in a moment. Martin Truex Jr. here blew out a tire in the tri-oval, absolutely killed the outside wall. As you can see, it looks like there might have been a bit of fire here, but I don't know, it's pretty hard to say or remember if that was the plan or not, but I don't remember mentioning it on the commentary, so I'm going to assume that that was not the plan. Pretty big hit for Martin here, absolutely pancaked the right side of the car. I'd say this is the best damage I've ever done for a tire blowout, and a hard pancake hit into the wall. You can see how much of the right side is flattened compared to the left side here. But all in all, pretty fun car right here. Definitely looks like it got all charred up, but pretty nice. And then began the start of the greatest rivalry in season number 2. Kevin Harvick absolutely getting dumped by Mr. Joey Logano at New Hampshire. Spun him around and hit the outside wall with his rear end pretty hard. It was also the first crash where a fight ensued right after. Used the little Monster Jam figures for that one. But all in all, this is a pretty nice scheme. Sucks that it had to be damaged, but whatever happens for the sake of art. Definitely change a little bit of this car. It's a little off. Like the rear end is a little too high off the ground. Of course, like it doesn't really set properly. Then of course he got him back at Darlington in the finish. But yeah, and then your season 1 champion, first ever damaged diecast for him. Moving on to the next one. And then came Talladega for the 10 of Eric Almirola. Forgot exactly how the wreck started. He might have gotten shot out of line and then came back up the track and hit nose first into the outside wall, triggering the big one, one of 2 big ones of that wreck. But a pretty simple nose damage here. Would have been a bit more aggressive with the angle that he hit it at, and the fact that he did get in the air for a bit didn't really make much sense to me in that crash, looking back on it. But missing the front tires here, no idea where those are. I did the best I could with this damaged car. And moving on to the next big one of Talladega season number 2. And for the second time of this season, it's actually 2 second times for this car in this season. So first off, it's the front nose. Ooh, we off center. The front nose, of course, is off of the car, but that is for good reason, because this is the second imaginary catch fence crash in the series and the season. Both of them ended up being Roush cars, unfortunately. Something that we will get used to here on this series. But all in all, I mean, this is a pretty cool car to have. You know, of course, it was a damaged diecast for a catch fence crash, even though there wasn't a catch fence. The only thing I would change about this crash is that I would film a bit more. You know, it kind of stopped, like, before Buescher was even on the ground, I'm pretty sure. But, it's a really nice damaged car for a catch fence crash, just which the crash went on longer, and it didn't really end the way it did. And maybe even add an actual catch fence, but like I would probably like try and rip this side off as much as I could, you know, try and take some of the panels off and all that. But this was a pretty fun crash to film. Wish I did a bit of a better job for it, but you know, that's Chris Buescher. And then Bristol struck for the second time in a row at Bristol Motor Speedway. William Byron, he done goofed, and I don't remember exactly what happened in the crash, but no, he came off at turn number 4, or not 4, number 2, and hit the inside wall, came back up into traffic, and actually hit his teammate, Alex Bowman, which is why this side is damaged in. Came down, hit this part of the car, of course, came back up, and then got hit right there for the damage right behind the wheel. This is the only time that this car has ever been used, but all the other cars have had 1 to 2 uses, but some of them has had up to like 5 different uses. All in all, the damage on this car is pretty realistic. The only thing that I would really change about it is to like get this nose to like stop lifting a bit. And then later in that race, we had Brad Keselowski absolutely get killed on a restart crash at Bristol Motor Speedway. Actually, as a matter of fact, the Byron crash is what led to that horrible restart for Keselowski and the other playoff drivers. But yeah, this is also the car from season number 1 from Richmond. This is the same Keselowski car that hit the inside wall and then had that rear end damage. And then of course at Bristol I went ahead and finished that rear end damage while absolutely destroying it. Now, of course, the rear bumper completely off the car. You know, looks a bit like his 2021 Daytona 500 finish car, except there's a bit less damage on the nose, but the entire rear end is gone. Wheels are still there somehow, but rear bumper is still here with the deck lid. And then the very next week, 2 races in a row, William Byron got absolutely killed at Martinsville this time, bounced off the wall, went back down the track, and I think Ryan Blaney is the one that hit him, absolutely shearing this part of his car off. You can see he got in the wall here and then came back down the track and bam, absolutely peeled open the front end of this car. A couple bits and pieces of the tires will obviously be gone and all that. Not all of them will be here, but this is a pretty nice damaged car. I would definitely have reused it because I feel like Martinsville wasn't really the best place for this car to be there. Maybe I could do a season 1 remastered, but instead of completely following season number 1's like script and all that, we can add just a couple new things here and there, you know, alter the timeline, and, you know, make a NASCAR stop motion multiverse or whatever. And then the next week at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Kurt Busch blew out a tire for the finish, went up into the outside wall, absolutely killed Matt DiBenedetto and Kurt Busch's race, leaving Brad Keselowski to get his 3rd win of the season, and then basically advance into the championship 4. But we can see here, yeah, a lot of damage to this one car. This was also in the Texas crash that I was talking about earlier, but of course it was reused for Charlotte and had a bit extra damage added to the car. Now, of course, you can see this thing is killed, absolutely destroyed. You know, Charlotte, of course, that was the last Charlotte race that was ever filmed for the AAPCS all the way back in season 2. It's been that long since Charlotte has seen AAPCS action, so I'll have to see if I can bring that back for season 6 or whatnot. But yeah, this is Kurt Busch's car, absolutely killed. The right side absolutely caved in, destroyed, unrecognizable there. And of course, Matt DiBenedetto was involved in that crash too. Heartbreak for him, the closest he's ever come to victory in my series. But yeah, this is Kurt Busch's car, and you know, we'll move on to the next one. Well, it appears that I have royally screwed up. So apparently, this Denny Hamlin car was at a Dover race. The only problem is this wasn't Season 2 Dover that this happened, because Denny Hamlin won Season 2 Dover and went on to win the championship. So this is actually from Dover of season number 1. So I kind of messed up there. So there's actually 4 cars from season number 1. But Denny Hamlin was, of course, one of them. This is when he crashed into the inside wall going through 3 and 4 and came back up the track and killed a lot of cars in that race. But you can see here, left front is gone because of all the smashing with the hammer. Could have done a bit more damage to the left front here, just to give more of a sense of an impact, you know, with the 11 going down into the inside wall, going into turn 3 at Dover, especially. A little oopsie on my part. I should have put this with the Byron and Buescher at the beginning, but yeah, that is Denny Hamlin's car from Dover. Now moving on to an actual season 2 Dover crash. Ryan Blaney right here, coming off of turn 2 for the restart, absolutely killed the inside wall with his teammates. And Brad Keselowski also had a damaged diecast there, but that one was also reused for season 3 that time. But you can see here, Ryan Blaney absolutely killed the inside wall with his right side. Yeah, pretty hard hit into the right side of this car. The door part actually didn't really get too much denting, although it is kind of flared out here, as you can see, compared to the other side. The other side is actually pretty clean for it being on the impacting side, with the hammer hitting it here and all that force transfers over. A little bit of dirt here and there because it's been sitting for so long. The only money line damaged diecast in this entire thing. Pretty fun to look back at all of these and see the memories all come back. Now, Roush fans, don't hate me, but in the finale of season number 1, we had Mr. Buescher go into the outside wall, taking out Tyler Reddick. So, of course, Chris Buescher blew out his tire, absolutely killed his right rear, and then hit the outside wall, collected Tyler Reddick with him. And this was also reused a couple times, yeah, this was reused a couple times. Darlington of season 3, and I think another crash. I think it was Seattle of season 3 as well. But this car has been reused a couple times. All in all, a pretty good scheme, honestly. Pretty not nice to see it crash, but kind of cool to see a cool looking scheme have a damaged version of itself, you know. This is not the only damaged car from Richmond, as there is one more car left to get into. Even though he had 3 wins on the season, season 2 was not Brad Keselowski's best friend, as this is the wreck that cost him the championship, all because of Kyle Busch being a little angry with the number 2 car. I don't know what it is about Brad Keselowski's rear end, but it always seems to come off whenever I do damage diecasts for him, no matter which car it is. But sometimes they do stay on, but most of the time they just come right off, and I'm not sure why. Yeah, this is where he hit the inside wall, inside pit wall, or outside pit wall, I should say, in a pretty unrealistic spot for the Richmond that I have, but he hit it nonetheless. That's what ripped off the rear bumper of the car, spun him around, got on top of his teammate Logano, ending both of their days and ending Brad Keselowski's chance at a championship in season number 2, and finished runner-up in season 5 most recently. So all in all, a pretty up and down career for Brad Keselowski in my series. This is honestly one of the more iconic damaged cars from my series, because it comes from another pretty iconic race as well, the Richmond Championship, of course, where Hamlin took his only championship in my series. Yeah, that is all the cars that I have for this video here today. If you want to see me do more of this series, please let me know in the comments below, because I will definitely continue doing this for season 3, 4, and 5, and then eventually number 6 when that is completely done. And please let me know how you enjoyed this video and all that. But for now, that is all I have for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.